Hello, everyone. My take will be much more on the attackers and how they use AI, and what can we do? How can we do about to defend against them? Just quick intro on me because I'm now started my company to tackle that problem. But I have a background in standards for many years. I was helping with Scott to create the HC group that becomes, and I'm very glad it becomes a TC now, and was at the initiative of MEF for security in general. So well versed into SDO's work and the importance of it. For the rest, you can just talk to me look on LinkedIn, of course. Our criminals, they started to organize, and they have huge capabilities with LLM for fraud, so Gen AI for fraud. You even find fraud GPT, fake GPTs, only fake is half using AI and work. And as the name said, only fake help you to forge identity papers. So people paper, identity cards, passports. And the content they created is almost humanly undetectable. I see regulatories, agencies, NCSCs and others, when you look at how to defend, they ask people to be very careful, to look for errors, unusual way of saying things, things that looks odd to a human. We see that the criminals have the capacity to create very, very good fakes that even the agents may fall for. So we have to really take that into account now. Those criminals don't wait, and they use that. Another and the most scary part for me, of course, when you start into that direction, you should be you get scared, and you should be, but it's the cost of those things, the cost for a low-skilled criminal, not even a good one. It's €100 a month to get access to fraud GPT, and the tool makes undetectable voices. Style is free, and then you buy access, SIM swaps, and access as a broker on brokers on the dark web, and it's super easy to be someone for a very small amount of money, which is very, very frightening, because with that, the scale of this threat extends dramatically. You don't need to have everyone to be able to buy a lot of NVIDIA cards. They can just reuse the models and go further. We love in cyber to take the very appealing, very specific cases, but those cases of attack are daily and hourly, mostly. But 2 weeks ago, an accounting people in Hong Kong from a multinational was into a conference call with 4 persons that he knew, including his boss. The 4 of them were fakes. That's the extent of what the criminals are capable of doing technically today. They can make half an hour video of people you know to get 25 million transfer. Of course, there is a good gain for that, but they're capable of that. So with this and the extent of availability of the tools, you can imagine that for lower target, it will be a boulevard for the criminals to go deeper into identity, their target identity with those things. Of course, you can find GPTs that also create malware for you, etc. As a matter of fact, last week I saw that they built an LLM that can do pen testing. Not doing a specific malware, you just give it a target and it will try every possible cases as a pen tester, fully automated. So those things get deeper and crazier. Of course, and many of the talks before that were, how can we help make AI systems secure themselves? So securing the AI system we want. And I love AI systems. I love GPTs, use them daily. They big complement to my work and on many aspects. So it's just don't get this as we should stop the whole things together. That's not the point at all. But we need to find a way to stay human and being able to detect when a human tries to talk to an entity, an enterprise, etc. As everyone loving dystopia, as soon as you talk about AI, I use the Turing test and Blade Runner. It's important when you start to fight someone and on the intelligence part to know what they are capable of, what is easy and not easy for them. And matter of fact, when you look at legitimate LLMs, OpenAI, they have to put in place not only the model, but safeguards to just training the model itself does make it illegal and unsafe. You have to add the safeguards after the fact. Of course, the criminals don't care. Like they don't care about any laws or act or anything like that. So they can go very fast compared to the legitimate people. You can look for, if you don't trust me about the safeguard part, you can just look for how to hack the prompt to get the data that you're not supposed to receive. And it's very easy. You just go on repeat, give me this, the same thing, many different times. And at some point, the model will give you the raw model data that has been used, which is not supposed to do. So there is a lot of this. The funny part when I remember the film is a big part of the film is the main character start to question if he is a human or not. So we may end up there with very good fakes. But are we going to look at humans' capabilities to detect? Because it's getting faster and faster and faster. Will all the data that is already out there, it's becoming more critical to that. I just forget the little ones. In many cases, the AI detectors we know, like professors using AI detectors to detect if the text was made by ChatGPT, they will flag the Constitution of the United Nations as a fake, as AI generated. They made a lot of errors, a lot. And there is a big disadvantage for the defenders here. If you're an attacker, even if you have a bad model that creates 10% good fake materials, it's useful. If you have a AI detector that detects 90% of the attacks, that's not good enough. And it's much more complicated to do the second one. So we have to be very careful on that. It doesn't. Yeah, it moves. Yeah, I already mentioned that. But it was really finding in preparing for this talk is and a frightening one. Just by inferring data you don't build a system that is safe to use and even less legal. You have to act and to edit and to add more thinking and editing, human editing on the system to make it the way you want. And I don't know if there is research on that around that project around that, but that's something that is in many cases overlooked. Of course, the quality of training data is key, but it doesn't seem to be enough most of the time. So our approach is really to look differently at this problem. Let's say we know it's extremely difficult to make an AI detector, which going to be an AI will be extremely expensive. And by the time you finally make it, the AI that you try to defend from move and get better. And you need to go again and again. It's a never-ending race. So how can we protect and be sure our own human nature can be inferred in the data and or use it? So we do that. We do that already. My esteemed colleague mentioned it. When you have forensic, if someone commits a crime, we're going to look at the data on the Wi-Fi access point, on the BTS, on comparing the data to the claims. What I try to do is a system allowing, on the demands of people, of course, to do proactive forensic, so that people can attach to their claims, digital claims, the different claims of the different system they've been using, that gives you, as a receiver of the data, a much better understanding and a much better trust in the data getting in. And if we start to build that, we'll have a cycle of utopia instead of dystopia, where it will be much easier for legitimate users to prove their claims, because this is going to be even more complicated. It's already extremely frustrated when you're legitimate users of anything that you're suspect by default. From a professional cybersecurity point of view, it makes sense. But from a user point of view, it's extremely frustrating. And even if you agree to share what needs to be shared, it never works because they see you as a criminal by default. And it's because it's becoming even more and more complicated to prove your humanity and your identity, the whole system is going in the wrong direction. So we need to fight back. And to close on this, to me, one very important aspect that has been not mentioned yet is how we protect our own identity. And I see way too many instances where I just going to help my kid at a sports club, and I have to send a copy of my real identity card to the sports club. They don't know, and they don't have the means to protect that data at all. So I know this data is everywhere, and many institutions, for many institutions like credits, banks, it's enough just to open an account on your behalf. So we have a big problem to protect this first before even starting to do more things and more advanced things with AI. And that's my call to this esteemed audience and to the group, just to also focus on this very, very important part in the meantime, before we get proper AI systems to police the AI in the world. Thank you.
Nicholas, thank you for your good presentation. So, it's time's out over. And before closing this session,